That's what the plates look like in Saskatchewan. They're all green. Now I wanted to do some shopping. Poked my driver. Go get me some Starbucks. Oh, I can't. I gotta sleep. Son of a gun. Spoiled driver. So the CEO, chairman of the board, had to remember the skill and get behind the wheel and drive to Starbucks. Unbelievable. And this is downtown Swift Current, and there's actually no real Starbucks. That's over there. That's a Central Street, Central Avenue, and Starbucks is inside that plaza over there where the cars are, behind this small building. There's something like a pharmacy, like a Shoppers Drug Mart, something like that, and that Starbucks is in the corner, but it's not an independent. It's not an independent shop. It's basically, like one of those corporate stores. And if you like trucks, this is a good place to live in, because it gets real bad here in winter, right? So most people, Jesus, shut up. He wants battery power. So most people drive pickup trucks here, 4x4 or SUVs, like you see to my right. SUV, and then the red, I see the roof, a very old pickup truck. It's hard to see. And then in the back there, SUV, and then, oh wow, look at that. We have a sports car, but it's like probably a V6. Over here we have a couple of cars. Now check this out. Pickup truck, Honda. What? People still buy Hondas? All right. Anyway, so I did some shopping. Got tired of sitting over the truck stop, but I was still not hooked to the trailer. I thought, I might, I can use personal conveyance, like it's no BS, like real deal, because I'm not loaded, the trailer is separated. I need to go do some shopping. This is the perfectly legal way to use your truck. And I checked on Google Maps. It was 1.7 kilometers, just over 1 mile. And usually, I like walking, but the walking back with coffee just defeats the whole purpose, right? Like, how do you walk 1 mile with coffee? So by the time I reach the truck stop again, the coffee will be gone, and then you're gonna spill half of it when you're walking. And so I tried to get the driver. The driver said, "No, boss, shoot me, I cannot do it." So the CEO had to drive the truck. And I finally found it. I parked like this. I had no idea it was there, right? I'm looking for a standalone coffee shop, but it's a small town in the middle of nowhere. And so I parked the truck here, parking allowed for 2 hours. You see this sign? That's what's cool about small towns, is that it's free parking downtown. Well, there's not much of a downtown to speak of, but at least you have parking. That's cool. Like in Cambridge, where I park my truck, I have to go to like a big shopping mall, like a Walmart or something. Then of course there's parking. You can leave your car there like for half a day, but it's private property. Technically you're not supposed to do that. But here, everywhere on the side of the road, you see these markings, right? Yellow, right? So you cannot park there. But then you can park right there, right before the intersection where the the rock on the right, like on the shoulder, is gray, not yellow, you can park. You see, like these guys, right? You park there, you cannot park where the yellow thing is. And then you can park there. Beautiful. Just 2 minutes, 1 second away from that big store. So anyway, and the guy parked next to me at like 9 o'clock at night. A guy comes in, and I look in the mirror, because you know when I dropped the trailer, I parked right, I backed to it, but I didn't hook up to the Jeep, again thinking I might need to use the truck again for personal use. And to the right there's a lot of space to park something big. The only problem is right in front of that space there's a pole. There's a light pole, and there's some kind of a fence in there. So basically there is an opening, you can get to the road, but it's you cannot do it. You can go through, like even in a truck like this, but you won't be able to turn, because your trailer will definitely hit either the post or the fence, you know what I mean? So it's like a closed off parking spot. So basically, to do it properly, you have to back out of there. And I look at this guy, he has 2 trailers, you know, two of those what they call them, walking floor trailers. Like I see, it's an agricultural rig, but he has 2 trailers, so it's a B train. And I see how he came in, he swooped around me in the back there, and his rear axle is actually like pointing towards my trailer. I was worried, I'm telling you, like, because a friend of mine just got hit at a truck stop, brand new Peterbilt, half of his bumper was ripped off, you know? No cameras, nobody knows what it is, $1,000 easy. Like, he not the entire bumper, but like the one side of the bumper was like as if somebody hooked to it with a cable and pulled it, you know? That's what people do. And so, you know, and I had what, 3-4 hits with my International Mac. You know, it's a real deal. It's not like this coronavirus, it's the real deal. But I'm still wearing the mask, no matter what you guys say over there in comments. I don't care. I would like everybody to wear a mask in a place of business where you cannot stay away far enough. And actually here I go inside, all the workers are wearing masks. All the people walking in, I'm the only guy. Everybody looking at me like, who is this guy? Who does he think he is, wearing an expensive Chinese product like that? By the way, I still have the box. You see this? But these are actually pretty poor quality, you know, because quite often I had 2 or 3 masks where I put it in, this thing just tears off, you know. But actually on this one it did tear off. See this? I'm a fixer. I'm a fixer-upper. Because this is the upper corner. I was able to do this because there's a hole there. So just put it through and did a knot, you know, and it works. So I can use this mask for a couple of more years. Beautiful. By the way, the guy, some Indian guy that owns that Husky, he's always wearing a mask. Whenever he does, it's like this. You know, I want to tell him that he has the mask, you know, upside down. Like, I mean, he should turn it over. But he's always like this. And he never knows anything. Last time I really was upset with him. I stopped there and I needed a coolant, and I said, I need the red coolant. Do you know which one is red? And of course he had a few bottles there, like a few jugs. None of them have any markings on the side. And the caps, you know, sometimes they use the color coding on the cap, right? Like if it's a red, they use a red cap on the jug, right? These were all the same, all white or something like that. This guy says, I don't know. But the price, like one jug is like almost $30 Canadian, you know? And I say, so you want me to pay you almost $30 and then I can look? Because he said, no, you cannot open it. Because once you open it, you know, how do I sell it? I said, well, you're supposed to know the color. Like, what are you selling, right? It's like he's selling you a cat in the bag, right? And true enough, I bought one. I opened it, and it was a different color. It was like yellow, or what's the other color? Or like mine is red. There was like the other color that I cannot mix with mine. And I went back, showed it to him. He's like just, you know, shrugging. And now yesterday I asked him, this Husky is on a service road, as you saw from my previous video. It's parallel to Trans-Canada 1. And so to get to Trans-Canada 1, you can either go right or left. And usually when I'm coming from Calgary, I'm coming from the left. And when I'm leaving, I'm going to the right. But there's a construction there near the bridge. And so I'm asking this guy, I said, hey, if I need to go west, do you know if there's a ramp if I turn left from the truck stop and go over there? He says, no exit, no entrance. You have to go right, go under the bridge, and then you go under. Then you go west. And so yesterday when I dropped the trailer, out of curiosity, I just drove in my bobtail truck, right? Because it's so much easier. I just drove there, and sure enough, there's a street, and the sign says 2 TCH1, Trans-Canada 1. What is it? Trans-Canada Highway, yeah. And from there, I see a guy in front of me. I was thinking maybe there's no left turn to go west on Trans-Canada 1. No, the guy that was there in front of me, he was just, I see his left blinker coming on, and he's turning left, so perfectly legal. And so that's what I'm gonna do once I get my Alberta permit. I'm gonna go left or west on that service road, because it's so much easier. And by the way I'm parked right now, remember that light post I told you on the fence? I cannot turn right, because that was like the only spot I found when I came late to the truck stop the other day, right? That was the only spot I found, so now I cannot turn right. I can only turn left, and that was another reason I was asking this guy, but he's like, no, there's no exit. It's like I was just listening to this stand-up comedian where people give him directions. And he says, go straight and then turn left where the old schoolhouse used to be. The one that's burned down. So I think it was Roger Dangerfield. What was his name? Dangerfield, right? And so yeah, some people just not good with directions. Anyway, one more thing before I show you my top secret shopping bag. I wake up, I look at my phone. I always turn on the airplane mode. It's like 7:15, 7:20, but I was waking up, probably every hour looking at this guy to my right, because I was afraid he would hit me. Like, how does he get out? And he parked like that, and then I see him walking with coffee to his truck, and his truck is idling, so I see he didn't idle at night. Good man, because it's like plus 13 at night Celsius, 60 F. Why would you want to idle? Unless you want to unless you're a zombie and you want to like minus 20 F in there in the cab. Like, I don't understand some of these people. But this guy didn't idle, just like me. I opened the windows and I see him walking with coffee. He's looking at me, and I waved. I came out, and when I waited till he gets in the truck, just to keep the distance. And I said, how are you gonna get out? That's all I asked. I said, how are you going to get out of here? And he said, well, I can back out. And I look again at his rear axle, which is pointed straight at my trailer. So basically for him, he'll have to go forward, then back, and it's a double trailer, so it's very tricky. And of course I don't want him to hit me. And I just said, please don't hit me. And he says, well, if you move your truck, I can go through this opening here. And that's what I had to do, because again, I didn't want him to hit me, right? But the way the guy parked, that was pretty much the only reasonable way for him to get out, is for me to move my truck. And I'm not too happy about that, but I moved the truck, and he was able to go between the Jeep and the light post like this. And there was plenty of parking over there, but again, he's B-trained, so he doesn't want to back into a space. Just like me, he wanted to go straight, and this was probably the last spot he saw. But I just think it's not like I parked next to a guy, I cannot get out. I have to knock on his door. Hey buddy, can you move your truck? I cannot get out. I don't know. I would go into that space if I was not leaving, on the next day. But this guy is leaving, So if I didn't move my truck, you know, he'd be going like this 20 times before he can get back out in a straight line with his B train. So it's a bit upsetting, this disrespect for other people, but what do you do? Anyway, so let's see what I bought. Well, you remember I was saying that I have these, I have this protein powder. Not power, powder. I have these things over here, right? And these are super easy to make, and you need to use one of those, like a shaker, you know? I have it somewhere here, but the problem is that thing has a spring inside. It was driving me nuts. When I'm driving, and that thing was driving me nuts, because that spring, no matter how you put that little plastic thing, the spring is moving, and it makes this super loud, annoying metal and plastic tone. And so I hid it somewhere. I remember I took it out. I took that spring out and I put it in one of the bags. And I think I left that bag in my car by mistake. And now I'm searching all the bags, all the big bags. I cannot find it. And so I remember that. So you can still use that thing to make, you know, protein shakes, but the spring makes it easier and quicker. And so now I walk into this, what is called, Pharmasave. You see, Canada's community pharmacy. Pharmasave. We don't have them in the east there in Ontario, but so I went in and I see this. You know, I figured, okay, mine was getting old, so I'm gonna get this brand new one, and it's a better design. You see, because it has a longer spring, and it's attached to this little pole in here. So you know, when you put water and then you put your powder in there, you do like this. I like it, you know. And plus, it's, you know, Pharmasave. You know, I can probably sell this thing in 10 years for big bucks. You know, it's gonna be an antique item. So that's nice purchase number one. And then this is my favorite water, even though it's super expensive, and I remember that I was getting low, so I got a different one. Just really taste, you know, it's true. They say it's glacier water. I'm telling you, once you try this one, you don't want to get to the regular spring water in a jug, you know? Got some Aqua Fresh. I like this multicolor toothpaste. And then, because now I try to eat more protein, I got some of these protein bars. This is maple pecan, so dairy-free, plant-based. I got 2 of those, and I got 2 of these. Again, I'm looking for something dairy-free because I'm allergic. And actually yesterday, remember I was showing you that salami I bought? So I ate the whole box of that salami with coffee and cheese, and then I started having pretty bad headaches. And I know that happens usually when I had something that has milk in it. And I had cheese, but I checked the cheese for carbs, no carbs, which means no lactose. So I know when the carb says 0, I'm fine, I can eat a bucket of the cheese. So it was something else, and I remembered, wait, salami, right? Sometimes they use milk in salami. Let me see. I look at the package on the back, and sure enough, it says contains milk. And then in the detailed description, it says modified milk ingredients. So it's even worse. It's like on the packet it said all beef salami, which is just basically a bunch of marketing BS. So I just threw out the other pack. I cannot eat it. It makes me really sick when they put milk in there. Oh, and one more thing, one last thing I wanted to say is So actually I started saying that and then I forgot. I got distracted. So people are working really hard over here, collecting garbage. Where is this guy going? I don't see any containers anymore. Yeah, I see, typical 4x4 Dodge Ram. I think it says no, some kind of expensive. I see a marquee near the left rear light, tail light. It's something, I think it's some expensive version of that Ram, because you know, some of them, like the one I bought years ago, it was like 22,000 Canadian, and then they started going up. Now the cheapest one is like 34,000, but then you can go, like if you buy like a beefed up truck with all bells and whistles, it can go as high as like more than my Challenger, like 60, 65, $70,000. Anyway, I got distracted again. So as soon as I turn on my phone, as soon as I turn off the airplane mode, my phone starts ringing, and I look at the number. It doesn't say the name, but it says Edmonton. And I know one guy in Edmonton, and he's a freight broker. So of course, technically, you know, our union does not endorse, you know, socializing with freight brokers. So truckers, freight brokers, you know, we have to stay apart. But I do answer the phone just in case it's something important, and the guy says, "Oh, I watch your videos, Colonel. I'm not a subscriber. I cannot afford to subscribe." That's what he said. And at 7:30 in the morning, I still have I still have a sleep. And I said, "You cannot afford to subscribe to a free YouTube channel?" And he says, "Oh, well, I watch all your videos free. I didn't realize the subscription was free." And then he says, "I cannot comment." I said, "That's why you cannot comment. Like, you have to be a subscriber to comment, and it's free. Just click the button subscribe." Jeez. Anyway, the guy says, "I saw your video. Yeah, I'm not one of those keyboard experts, but I saw your video. I've been around equipment most of my life. What you need..." I said, "Hold on, let me get a piece of paper and a pen that does not write, so I can write it down and then forget about it." No, I did not say that, but the guy, you know, sounded genuine. I said, "So what's up? What's your tip of the day?" He says, you don't need a air gun." He was talking about those bolts in the back there, where my shims are in the deck. He says, "You need, what did he call it? Hammer wrench?" I think it was, yeah, hammer wrench. Basically, he says, "Look it up online. You will see what it is." He says, when I worked in the field," he says, "we use those to unscrew stuck 3-inch size nuts." And so that kind of got my attention, you know. And so, yeah, this hammer wrench, all it is like a 1 foot long piece of steel with the opening to put over the nut on one side, and on the other side it has like a plate for the hammer, right? And so you put it on the nut, and then you take a hammer and you hit it. It's not like one of those, you know, regular thin wrenches, right? There's not much space there to hit it, but this one has a real nice little platform where you can apply, you know, some force with the hammer. And he says, "Well, and they don't take space, you know, they're only 1 foot long, so you can keep a couple of them, you know, under your bunk. I thought that this would be better than just air gun, or, you know, those big massive, you know, regular wrenches, which are like you need them like 4 feet long to undo these nuts." And he says, "All you need is a hammer." And I'm still skeptical. I said, how big does the hammer have to be?" And he said, "Sledgehammer." And he says, "Well, 8 pounds." So you want me to buy 2 hammer wrenches 1 foot long, which will save space, and I can keep them under the bunk. But now I have to buy 8-pound sledgehammer. Oh boy, that's the kind of advice, you know, that you get. I mean, no, it does make sense. Like the part about the wrench makes sense, but buying an 8-pound sledgehammer does not make sense. And secondly, how do you by yourself? There's a nut and there's a bolt. You ever think about that? There's a bolt and the nut. They're not, what's the technical term? The bolt is not blocked from rotating. So you need 2 wrenches or 2 people. If you're using this hammer wrench, you need to hit it yourself, right? So, what's up? We have another fan. Hold on. Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Can I talk? Have you got time to talk for a second?
Yeah. If it's not, I'm about to leave, and as I'm recording that, I see a guy comes over to the right side, and he was waiting for me to finish the recording. A fan. He said, "Hi, Sergey. I knew that you were here. I wanted to stop and say hi." And he says, "I watch all your videos," and I'm like, "Are you a subscriber?" Because I told him about this other guy from Edmonton. I said, the guy said he cannot afford to subscribe to my free channel. And he says, "Yeah, I'm a subscriber." So he was driving an F-150 blue truck, and he says he lives closer to the US border. They have a colony, not Amish, but like a Mennonite, but a different name. I forgot the name, but and he said his routes were, his ancestors were actually also from Eastern Europe. Anyway, one last thing I want to show you guys is some driving, right? Because I apologize for that video yesterday, like the last part. I thought there would be more trucks, you know, but there was not that many trucks.
Head west on Herbert Street west toward 1st Avenue Northwest, then turn left onto 1st Avenue Northwest.
And the thing is, I have to go on Trans-Canada, because again, there's like this road, you cannot go south on that 11th Avenue. It's blocked off. Okay, let me start my charging. What I'm doing is I'm charging my laptop as we driving, because sometimes when I'm sitting, it doesn't wanna charge. So whenever I am
200 meters, turn right onto 2nd Avenue Northeast.
Why are we turning right? Let's go like this.
Take the next left onto Central Avenue North.
Okay. So we're gonna switch air conditioning. And when I was coming in, I saw some restrictions for trucks. But this way I don't see any restrictions. So I thought I would show you like a downtown Swift Karen.
Continue on Central Avenue North for 1.5 kilometers.
And on the left, that's Farmer Safe. That's where, yeah, you see this? So I could have went into, I did not know it was such a big parking lot, right? So I could have gone inside. And so yeah, it's always nice to meet fans. I want to just say subscribers. So yeah, basically the thing is, if you're not subscribed, You cannot leave any comments. You cannot participate in any discussions. And so all you gotta do is register a username and kind of like your channel, but you don't have to do any videos. But this way you get your handle, right? And then you can leave comments, and of course when you're subscribed, you get notifications when a new video is uploaded. Okay, and here we have a Shoppers Drug Mart. And restaurant, liquor store. And this is where I went yesterday. You see, it's actually much closer than that place. Like, this is right next to the freeway, to Trans-Canada 1. There's well, I think I stayed here. Actually, there's a Super 8 over there. Maybe I can go to a hotel, I don't know. Forgot what gear I was in. We're gonna cut this out because my next truck will have an automatic transmission. The roads are awful. They have these cracks. Yeah, compared to Ontario, I would say the roads over here are worse. And you see, diesel is 97.9, and I got it at the Husky for 89 cents. You know, normally these small stations, their prices are cheaper. Pretty much that's the Swift Current. But I see lots of private houses in the distance, but the downtown is where I just was. Oh, and when I was buying the coffee, I asked the girl at the counter, I said, "Are you the only Starbucks here?" And she says, "No, there's another one opened a few blocks away." And she says, now because of them, most of the time we're half empty. And I said, did you hear that Starbucks is closing a whole bunch of stores, like coffee shops in Canada? And she says, yeah, I read about that. But she said, we are not a franchise. We actually belong to PharmaSave, and so she says, I'm pretty sure like they cannot close us. Oh yeah, I see, road closed, local traffic only, and whenever you look up this route from my truck stop to Starbucks or downtown, you have to take this road, and it's closed. Now this guy has a stop sign. You see stop sign? You see stop sign, right? Okay, just want to make sure. Now there's a stop sign, so the guys coming from here are supposed to yield to the traffic from the other road, and that's what I did. When I came here, I had to stop. and he's glaring at me with his two 53-foot trailers. Just read the signs, man. Alright, there you go. The truck is still here. Unbelievable. Oh yeah, you see, now I'm gonna show you. You see this? See, I was parked like that. You see this post and that fence? So the guy parked over here, and of course my truck was here, so he couldn't get out. And so because of him, I had to move my truck. And I said, that's it. When you leave, I'm gonna park next to my trailer. I don't want anybody to park here. Yeah, I'm gonna park like this. Maybe like this. Because this way I'm away from you see, it was like this. It was pretty much the same setup, except his truck was, I think, either a Mack or a Western Star. And so with me being over there in front of the Jeep, there was no way for him to go this way because of that block. You see like how this guy is going, right? You cannot turn from here. So anyway, so I decided to be a good guy and move my truck. And so yeah, the front of the trailer is on the ground, and I dropped the air suspension and I released the air from the big airbags on the booster, so not to tax the frame too much. And I don't know if you can see, but the fenders on the Jeep are right on top of the tires. There's hardly any space between the fenders and the Jeep, which means oh, and you can see the rear of the Jeep is really down, and the mud flaps are touching the ground, so that means there's no air in the suspension. I drained the air. Anyway, so that's what's happening. Let me just turn off my e-log. And like I said, this was a legitimate personal conveyance, right? Unladen, unloaded, no trailer. Going to do shopping, and I already see a nice green line across my e-log, which means that I've already completed my reset, which is 34 hours actually in Canada, right? And so now I can just go to off duty without personal conveyance and just sign, and that's it. And yeah, I'm not gonna hook up because this way I can still go somewhere if I need to. We're just gonna shut down the tablet, and what I do is I turn on the airplane mode and disconnect turn off the location service, and then unplug it, kill it. That's it. And people still ask me what I'm using. That's what I'm using. I'm using LG tablet. Oh, check this out. The same truck like mine, the guy killed almost his headlight is broken. He's missing the inserts in the bumper. Big freight. And what's funny, that reminded me that over here, that's another funny rule they have, is they don't allow large spreads on the flatbed and step decks. And I don't know if you noticed, but that guy, the spread between the axles and the back was like this, like on my Jeep. So that's the most typical. It's like 60 inches, 5 feet. Whereas in Ontario you can go as high as 72 inches and you get more weight in Ontario if you have a tandem with 72 inches. And that's what some of our dump trucks, they use 72 inches instead of, like on my truck it's 54 between the drives. My Mac had 52, but I found that it's helpful when you have 54, you know, just a couple of inches. It gives a little bit extra pounds when you get permits. They like when axles are spaced more apart. But here, if you come here, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, if you come with the tandem, which is 10 foot 1 inch, like the typical tandem on flatbeds and step decks in US, you are gonna lose one axle for the purpose of the weight. Basically, one of the axles becomes invisible and you only get 20,000 pounds. So let's say you get 12,000 on the front, let's say 40 on the drives if you have a regular truck. So 40, 12, and 40, no, what 40, 20, and 20 on the one axle. So that's it, minus your empty weight. That's all you can do here. And that's why most local guys, they either run fixed closed tandem, like where axles are like that and you cannot change the spread, right? Or option B, they run sliding tandem, like where the whole thing slides. You know, like you cannot change the spread, but you can slide the bogies, you know, depending on, you know, how heavy your load is. Maybe you have a light load, so you can slide your bogies towards the truck, make it easier to turn. And then the most expensive but probably most practical option is to have a sliding front or rear axle. Then one of the axles would be fixed on the trailer, and then let's say you come in, you cross from Ontario into Manitoba. So Ontario recognizes these long spread tandems, but Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC don't recognize it. So that's when you move one of your axles and you close the gap, right? So it's very different. This part of Canada is very different from the rest of Canada. So anyway, so now the plan is just to relax, watch some videos, or do this video. And then I still have to do, I got lazy this month, I have to do my books for May, you know, like my expenses and profits, and then send in an HST filing, sales tax refund, and I'll get some money back from the government. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care.